Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. So in today's video it's going to be a very fun reading vlog because I thought it would be fun to ask some of my favourite authors to recommend me a book to read. This has been in the making for a while. I've been wanting to get to filming this but I just haven't, and I'm really excited to read books and give my opinions on them because I mean they do seem like some good recommendations. So first off we have Lucia Franco. Lucia Franco is the one that wrote the Off Balance series, which is personally one of my favourite series ever. Like, it's just so good and I highly recommend you read it if you haven't already. They recommended Undeniable by Madeline Sheeran, I think that's how you say it, so if I said that wrong. And this book sounds and looks really good and kind of seems like it's going to be like my type of book, and so I'm really excited to start this one. Okay, so I thought I would come and do an update because I started Undeniable and I haven't got far into it at all. I'm only on chapter 2, so I've only read one chapter and I already have a few thoughts about it, and to be honest I really hope my thoughts end up changing at some point during the book because, like I said, one chapter in, and with this type of book I feel like it has to be done correctly for me to even try and enjoy it. But I'm not sure what the basis of the book is about currently, like right now. I'm getting that there is like a motorcycle club, and within this motorcycle club it starts off with our female main character who is 5 years old. Her mother left when she was born, so she only has her father, who is, I think, is like the boss of the motorcycle club. I think that's kind of the vibe I'm getting, and then her uncle, and just kind of like the club themselves. The basis of it is obviously she's 5 years old, so that her father and uncle can talk, they send her off to the vending machine. That is where she meets a man who noticed that she was singing a song that he likes, or from someone that he likes, and then because she's like obviously she's 5 years old, she's very open, she's like, let me go meet your father. She's 5 years old, so already it's kind of like weird because she's going off with this stranger, and the father and uncle are only on the other side of the room and they haven't even noticed. So I just feel like all of these things so far are very unrealistic. I just feel like there's some very unrealistic things about it. Like, for example, a 5-year-old being able to talk perfectly. Like, I feel like she's having a full-grown adult conversations and she's saying words that a 5-year-old wouldn't even know how to say, and it's just kind of, like I said, very unrealistic. Also, this is going to be very small and very picky of me, but again, it's just kind of taking me out of the story to believe that she's 5 years old, because when she goes to a vending machine, instead of getting, you know, a snack that a 5-year-old would get, she ends up choosing peanuts. What 5-year-old chooses peanuts as a snack? I've never known a 5-year-old to choose peanuts as a snack. Then there is going to guess, just because of the way everything's going, that he's going to be our main male character, and in the start of the book he's 28 years old, I think, and he ends up getting all the crisps or chips, however you say it, and chocolate for his father. I feel like they got that a little bit mixed up there with the snack situation. So yeah, like I said, seems very picky of me. It takes me out the story. It just seems so unrealistic. So I'm not getting the vibe that she's 5 years old, but I know she's 5 years old, which then makes things a bit creepy with what I'm going to guess is our main male character, is the way he's treating her and the way he's talking to her, because he doesn't obviously say this to her, but he ends up talking about how beautiful her eyes are. And again, with a 5-year-old, the way he said it is just really creepy, and I'm just really not liking that so far. He's giving off creepy vibes currently, so I'm hoping it will get a little bit better. I kind of glanced at chapter 2 and I think it's 7 years later now, so she'll be 12, and all I read that is that they meet again 7 years later. So we're gonna see how this goes. Hopefully it gets better, but already I am not enjoying it, and this is the type of book that normally I don't have a problem with. Like I said, it has to be done correctly. I mean, I enjoyed Welcome to the Dark Side, and that is kind of similar. I enjoyed that one, but I'm just getting a little bit of creepy vibes currently, so hopefully it'll get better. I'll give you all an update once I've read a little bit more, because obviously I have only read one chapter. So it is now the next day, and I thought I'd come to you all with quite a big update because I ended up finishing the book all last night. I have very, very mixed opinions about this book, so we're gonna get into it because I have quite a few things to say. So after what I discussed during the last clip, I still felt like it was strange. Okay, it kept getting creepier if I must say so myself. I don't know, I did have issues with this book. I don't think I said this on camera, but I was really hoping as a redemption that things would only happen between the two main characters when she was 18. Unfortunately, that did not happen. She was 16. So yeah, this book was just strange from the get-go. It was giving me creepy vibes. I really wasn't enjoying it, but there was something telling me to continue on reading it. Like, I don't know what it was, but something was telling me to continue. So I did. I did think about DNFing at first, but I decided to give it a chance. And with this book, you actually skip from years without spoiling too much. She is 5 when they first meet, and they don't see each other again until she's 12. Then they don't see each other again until she's 16, 18, 21, and then a few years later, I think next time is like when she's 30. So it skips over time, which I wasn't expecting, and normally I'm not a big fan of, but obviously, I feel like it was much needed within this story. The years was needed, so it's skipping over the years. I didn't mind within this book. It was much. The one thing I would say I didn't like about the jump was how, I don't know, I felt like because it had been years, there was always like a big jump, and I felt like it was kind of disconnecting us from the characters, especially our female main character, because 1 minute she's 5 and then she's 12 and then she's 16. Like, you are missing so much of her life that you're not really getting to know her as a character. But then again, that does improve once she becomes like an adult, because you obviously see her more. She finds out who she is, like self-discovery. So I do feel like that changes. I feel like I'm not really making sense, but that's just because, to be completely honest, my thoughts for this book is all over the place. I'm literally explaining my brain to you right now because I can't decide. Then some crazy stuff happened within this book, and I cannot go into detail, otherwise it'll be major spoilers. Some crazy stuff happened, which I was not expecting going into this book. Like, let me tell you, I'm so glad that I did continue, apart from me not liking the romance part, mainly within the beginning mostly, but it had a twist, okay? It was a plot twist. Some crazy thing happened, and honestly, I did enjoy that. I can't say why without spoiling it too much. I'm really trying to keep this as spoiler free as possible, but the stuff that happened, I enjoyed. That intrigued me. It made me want to continue reading because I wanted to know what happened next. So that is why I have decided to rate this book 3 stars, which I don't think I prefaced. What I'm talking about that I did enjoy, that kept me intrigued, did kind of like anticipate throughout the whole book, and you kind of like expected it, but you didn't expect it to be as like bad as it is and as crazy as it is. Again, not gonna make sense unless you've read it. One major thing, well, no, the one major thing was the relationship and all that, but the other thing that I just really didn't like, but again, I mean, I shouldn't have expected any less, a motorcycle, you know, romance club. The way they spoke about women or to women, I just couldn't. But yeah, I had a major problem with how they spoke about women. It really put me off the book, because every time they spoke to a woman or was talking about a woman, they called them a bitch, and I hate that. I hate it when men call women bitches. I feel like there's no need for it. Also, again, I should have expected it. Motorcycle club, it kind of happens in all books. The men were just absolute douchebags, and that is me putting it very politely, because let's just say there's a lot of cheating on their wives. Yeah, there's a lot of negative things that I had to say about this book. A lot, well, not so much a lot of positives, but there are positives. The relationship stuff improved, obviously, as she got older, all that stuff, but I don't know, I felt very disconnected, to be completely honest. For once in my life, I can say the romance was my least favourite part of a book. I know. That is my conclusion. I think that is everything that I have to say, because the whole time I was reading it, I wanted to pick up the camera, but obviously it was late, so I couldn't. And I just also couldn't stop reading. It's crazy, because I really wasn't enjoying it for most of the time, and then I just couldn't put it down, which tells me I was enjoying it a little bit. You know, but I just want to preface, it's not a bad book. I feel like I'm just talking badly about it. It's not terrible. I obviously rated it 3 stars. There were good things, there was negative things. Would I recommend it? I would recommend it if this is your type of book. And it is normally my type of book. That is why I went into it. But I don't know. It just feel like how the author wrote, especially about their relationship in the beginning when she was younger, just really creeped me out a lot. Yeah. Oh, also, what I'd like to say is her father, I felt like, failed her so much, because how he was so blinded about this specific thing, which I'm not obviously going to mention, it'll be a spoiler. How he was so blinded, it's absolutely wild to me, because I just don't see how someone could be so blind. So I do feel like he failed her. But he did kind of have a redemption, because he did kind of admit that he did fail her. in that area that irritated me. Now I think I'm going to stop ranting because I think I could talk about this book all day. I also don't want to end up going around in circles with the things that I have to say. I think I've got everything. If I think of something else, I'll let you all know at the end of the video, but I think I have said everything. The next author that I DM'd was Brooke Montgomery. If you don't know this already, one of my favourite series is the Sugarland Creek series, which I talk about a lot on my channel, and I do compare it to the Chestnut Spring series a lot. I absolutely love this series. The recommendation Brooke Montgomery gave me was Garum Park. I think that's how you say it, I'm not too sure. This is a series that I actually saw a while ago, but like I don't know too much about it, but I'm definitely very excited to get into the first book of the series, which is Garum Park, because it does look like something I'm going to be really into. Okay everyone, I have an update for you all for Garum Park. I look a mess because today is just not a day where I woke up with a banging headache, just not leaving the building. But I have been reading. It took so much energy to start reading. I don't know why. I don't know why it's took me so much work to actually pick up a book. Like, that is ridiculous, okay? But eventually I did pick it up. I'm just saying. But I got to chapter 8, which is 27%, page 77. And I already have something to say about it. So far I'm actually enjoying it. I'm not gonna lie, I am liking it. But to be honest, going into this book, I had a feeling that I was going to like it just because of it being an romance, and I believe, I want to say, I'm not too sure, but like they live in a trailer park. I don't know. I had a feeling. I went into it not knowing much, but what I did know, I just had a feeling this was going to be my sort of thing. So yeah, really enjoying it so far. The basis of the story is about Devon. I think that's how you say it. And he has an abusive father. And I think Devon is, I keep getting like confused with like who is who with the names, but I think Devon is the one that was looking for his brother when he ran into Maddox, however you want to say it, who is actually his enemy. But either way, Maddox ends up like helping in some sort of way. But anyway, what I love about this is even though that they're enemies, from like straight away Maddox helped Devon like with no questions asked when he was injured, and Maddox jumped in straight away. Like there was no questions about it. It wasn't like, oh, he's my enemy, I'm not helping him. There was none of that. He just went and helped him, which I mean I love. In a book, I just absolutely love when one of the characters are like injured and then the other one like helps them, you know, kind of like when they're sick but like, or injured, or you know, just it hits different. Okay, so yeah, I absolutely love that. But they still have their like banter, obviously, because they're enemies, so they're still like hating each other, and you know, also while Maddox is like helping him. I don't know, I just like it, okay. The one thing I would say is I have just stopped at a point where they have had their first kiss. That's what I'm gonna say. I've literally just stopped at that part, so I do want to get back to the book, but I feel like it's happening quite quickly. Obviously I've got to continue reading to maybe see if what I'm wanting happens, but what I'm wanting is, I would have loved a bit more tension and like maybe a little bit more of a slow burn. I do feel like it is kind of insta-levy right now, especially with them being enemies. But I have a little bit of a feeling that maybe we're gonna get that a little bit later on, where you know, things are just happening and then maybe the enemies part like starts to like kick in a bit, that type of thing. I don't know. I'm really hoping that we get a little bit of like pining, should we say? I don't know how to explain it. I want a little bit more tension. I want a little bit of like longing, where they're longing for each other, whereas they didn't do that for long. I feel like it's happened like really quickly so far. But like I said, I do feel like maybe it's just like a moment thing, spur of the moment type thing at the moment. But like I said, I am really enjoying it. I'm enjoying how everything is going so far. I would definitely check trigger warnings for this book just because of some topics that have been discussed. The author does put it at the beginning of the book. I'm going to continue reading and we're going to see how this all plays out. So I thought I'd just quickly jump in here. I'm currently editing this video because I didn't get it edited before before going away, like I tried to, which you'll see right at the end of the video when I did an update. But yeah, I thought I'd quickly jump in here because it seems to be that I have lost the footage for my thoughts and rating for Garen Park. I don't know where it's gone, and so I'm confused. I have literally looked everywhere. What I'm gonna say is I read this really quickly. I read this in one sitting. I did really enjoy it, and I haven't read an romance in a little while, and I don't know, it was something different and new, and I enjoyed that. I decided to rate it 4 stars as it was really enjoyable. I did feel like at times obviously the relationship like started off really quick, but throughout the story it did build up on like their chemistry, and I don't know, I was rooting for them. I loved it, and I love the enemies to lovers type thing, but it wasn't really like enemies. You didn't see much of it, but when you did, it was more like banter type thing, and that is what I really enjoyed personally. But yeah, I think that is all I said during the update. Obviously I can't remember, it was like 4 weeks ago at this point. Then we have Christina Lauren, and they recommended me I'll Give You the Sun, and this book has been on my want to read list for years now, and I just haven't got around to it, and I don't know why. There hasn't been like a specific reason. I've just been a little bit nervous to start it, but I am excited to finally get to it and get it off my TBR or want to read list. So I have an update for you all. It has been a while. I finished this book a few weeks ago, but I just completely forgot to do an update, so I thought I would hop on in here, do this update before I continue on with filming this vlog. So to be completely honest, I don't remember much about it, which just kind of proves how much I enjoyed it, should we say. I don't really remember too much, so I feel like it's going to be a little bit hard, but I'm going to try my best. So I read I'll Give You the Sun. I can't remember the last thing that I updated, or if I updated at all, but this book follows a story about fraternal twins, and we follow their lives like living separately. So this is about fraternal twins, Jude and Noah. We follow their lives initially as inseparable siblings, then as estranged individuals after a tragedy. Story alternates between Noah's perspective at 13 and Jude's at 16, revealing how their bond fractured and how they eventually find their way back to each other, exploring themes of love, loss, art and self-discovery. That is what it's about. I did have to search it because all I really remembered about it was the fact that it was about fraternal twins, and the fact that you saw their lives together and how like close they were, and then their lives individually. And I know that you like saw it from each of their perspectives, but I just didn't really remember like details about it. I did decide to rate this 2 stars at the time of reading this, because at the time of me reading it, it was different from what I normally read, and I found it was okay, but I just feel like this type of story isn't personally for me, and I don't know why. Maybe I was just reading it at the wrong time. Maybe this just wasn't the sort of book that I wanted at the time that I read it, but I don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't really have much thoughts about it, to be completely honest. I don't know, I had to switch to the audiobook because I was finding it hard to pick up otherwise. So if it wasn't for the audiobook, I just feel like I probably wouldn't have finished it, and that's what makes me think that maybe it was the fact that I wasn't in the mood to read it at this point in time. I'm not too sure. That is all I really have to say about this book, but I'm glad that I have finally read it because it has been on my want to read list for years now. So I am glad that I finally read it and that I gave it a chance. And to be completely honest with you all, I do understand why it was so popular and why it would be so many other people's type of book, and that is why I would highly recommend that you go and give it a go, because it is a good story. I just feel like maybe, like I said, it wasn't for me at the time that I picked this up, which is okay. Then we have Penelope Ward, and Penelope Ward has written some amazing books that I absolutely love, and I can't just choose one, there are so many. They recommended A Love Letter to Whiskey, and I've heard so many good things about this book. Now, I have been debating whether to read this one or not, just because I've heard so many good things about it, but I've also heard that this is a book that is like up and down, and those type of books for me where the relationship is always like on off or all over the place isn't normally for me. But I have heard a lot of amazing things about this one, so I would really like to give it a go. And the one that I'd like to give a go specifically, I think, is the one where you have both POVs, because there are 2 different versions. Okay, so I'm quickly doing an update on my phone because I'm literally about to leave for holiday in like 30 minutes actually. We're supposed to be leaving now, but we are running a little bit late, and I'm trying to like get this video finished, edited and everything, and then I realised I didn't do an update for the love letter to Whiskey because I only finished it today, so I thought I'd do a quick one. I'm not sure what to rate it. I'm thinking maybe a 3-star because I'm not someone that really normally likes like backwards and forwards between romances. Like, I understand that it kind of builds up more chemistry and stuff, but I just find it annoying. But otherwise I felt like the book was okay, except for obviously it frustrated me sometimes with like the couple going backwards and forwards all the time. It was always like not the right time type of thing, especially because he originally started dating her best friend first, and then like loads of other things just kept getting in the way, and so that was a bit frustrating. But otherwise it was okay. I did definitely feel the chemistry between the characters, and I was so glad about the ending. Like, I was so happy for them near the end. So yeah, I don't really have much to say about it. I would say did feel a little bit long and a little bit like repetitive at times, obviously with the backwards and forwards. I just don't know why romance needs to be that long, although I suppose with this one it's a little bit different because obviously of it, like, you know, the chemistry and the backwards and forwards and all that, it was a big part of the story. So yeah, but other than that I don't really have much to say. But yeah, I am thinking maybe a 3-star for this book. I think that was a good rating. I don't know if I'll change it anytime soon because obviously I have only finished it today, so I don't know really, but I think a 3-star is like a good place for it to be. And then finally we have LL Ash, and you probably recognise this author from one of my favourite books ever, and that is him. I talk about this book so much. I've talked about it since like day 1 of my booktube journey, and they recommended me Love Online by Penelope Ward, which is quite funny considering I did get a recommendation from Penelope Ward themselves. But this one, Love Online, I have been intrigued in reading. I have seen it before, so I am very excited because obviously it's a book from one of my favourite authors. Okay, so I thought I would do a little update because I have got 77 pages into Love Online, and I am really enjoying this one so far, if I must say so myself. I wasn't actually expecting to enjoy it as much as I already am already, for the pure fact of me being 77 pages in, but then again it is a Penelope Ward book, so I'm not that surprised if we're being completely honest. But I'm more surprised because I didn't know what it was about going in. Obviously I had a little rough idea just from Love Online, you know, it kind of tells you sort of what it's about, but loving it so far. So the basis of what I've got from it so far is it is about a main male character, Ryder, and he is, I want to say he's an actor, but I must have missed it while reading it because I'm not too sure, but he was all about like studying film production and stuff, so he has something to do with that. But either way, he is famous, you know, everyone knows him, and he's recently gone through breakup. Well, not recently, but he's had a rough time, and he is wanting to finally connect with someone who doesn't know him or is after anything from him, like to get into the industry. So one day he decides to go on this website and he finds a cam girl singing a song that his mother used to sing to him when he was younger, and he just felt a connection straight away with this woman, and then they get to talking eventually, and that is then when we meet our female main character, Eden. Well, I'm liking it so far. I'm liking the preface, but with us being 77 pages in, I was liking the progress, like, you know, the progress that they was going at. It didn't feel rushed in the beginning. I was just wishing that we got a little bit more detail, just because like continue reading and then they'll say that they've discussed like their names and we didn't see that conversation happening, or they would be like, oh, we know this about each other, and it's like we didn't see any of that conversation. I feel like that would have been nice to have seen and read about. I would have felt like that would have given us a bit more of like a connection with the characters, a little, with them, like, you know, being there for them to actually getting to know each other. But I suppose it is nice to have just skipped to the point of they know like these facts about each other and they don't know everything about each other. So I feel like it is a little bit nice on the other hand as well. So I've got a little bit of like mixed opinions. It would have been nice to have seen, but like it's not a big bother. But then again, with also being 77 pages in, which is like 20 something %, I'm reading it on my Kindle obviously. We're not obviously far into it, and they have already had their already thinking that they love each other type thing. And now I feel like things are moving so quickly. and they've already like started doing stuff without saying too much. So yeah, I just feel like now it's starting to feel a little bit rushed. I would have liked it if it took a little bit more time, maybe at least like 40% in before they started to get to the point where they are now. I feel like 20% is a little bit too much, because I just don't feel like they know each other well or have that much of a connection currently. But then again, I could be feeling that just because we missed them getting to know each other and it kind of skipped through that. So that is the issue that I'm having with it so far. But like I said, I am enjoying it. I want to keep going back to the book, and that is a good feeling. The fact that I'm having that feeling is good. It means that I'm enjoying it. So I am going to continue reading some more now, seeing what comes next. But that is the issue that I'm having so far, is the fact that I feel like things are happening a little bit too quickly. I would have liked it to have been not so much a slow burn. I don't expect anything to be a slow burn, but you know, just a little bit slow. I feel like it's definitely insta love currently. They obviously haven't said that they love each other, but they're already thinking it. They're already like getting those feelings, and it's just a bit too much for being 77 pages in. So I'm gonna go and continue reading, and I'll give you all an update once I have one. So I thought I'd give a quick update because I'm 45% in and I'm still enjoying it, but I still feel like they are moving way too quickly. They haven't known each other for that long at all, and they're already still thinking that they love each other, and I just feel like it's all happening too quickly. As someone who does like a little bit of a slow burn, this is definitely very insta-lovey, not a favourite of mine, but nonetheless I am still really enjoying it. But I'll give you all an update tomorrow once I have read a lot more. Okay, so I thought I'd give you all a quick update because last night I ended up this morning I ended up finishing Love Online by Penelope Ward, and I have been sitting in my thoughts about this book all day because I couldn't stop thinking about it. But then I did have obviously some not so much negative thoughts about it or things to say about it, but you know, there's some things that I would have liked to have been different. So I was thinking, and I have decided to rate this one 4.25 stars. I did really enjoy it. I loved the characters, you know, what the story was about and how everything went down. There's also a character in there which I don't want to spoil too much, because I feel like, because I didn't know that this was going to happen, it added to the story. So there's also a character in there that I loved, and I just loved how attentive our main male character is, to be precise, towards a certain person. That's all I'm really going to say, because like I said, I don't want to say too much. But yeah, really enjoyed it. The only issues that I really had was what I have discussed before, obviously in my clips, where I did feel like the relationship was rushed in most areas, where I felt like, I don't know, it was all happening too quick, where especially our female main character was already like, oh, I think I love him type thing, like, and they only hadn't known each other for a few days, and at that point they hadn't even met in real life. They had only been chatting like on camera, and that's all they like had gone as far as. So yeah, and then they already started to have more of a sexual relationship not even that long in, and I don't know, that was my only issues really, to be completely honest. But otherwise, absolutely love this book. I can't stop thinking about it. I don't know what it is. I think it was just because it was a nice, easy, quick read, and had a great time reading it. I had so much fun filming this video. It's probably like one of my favourite videos I've filmed. I really enjoyed it, and I'm so excited for you to all see this video. But thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave this emoji if you're watching till the end, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye!